Yo, what is it guys? Welcome back to Andy's Reviews, and today we just got out of theater from watching 28 years later, and I'll be honest with you, this movie's pretty good. From beginning, middle to end, this movie's filled with a bunch of action set pieces, zombie raging fights, as well of course some overall awesome performances from the cast, but besides that, let's get into the review. So basically, 28 years later is basically the highly anticipated sequel to 28 Days Later, starring Cillian Murphy, which came out like a bunch of years ago. And basically, this movie is about three main characters. One, of course, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. Number two is, of course, an actor who plays his son in the movie. And number three, of course, is the mom of that son in the movie, which is pretty cool. Basically, this movie follows them journey to the mainland of England, which is currently overtaken by a bunch of zombies who are infected by something called a rage virus, which makes them vomit blood the moment they get infected and makes them very rageful against the human population. And basically, this movie involves them journeying to the mainland in order to solve the mystery of the plot, which I will not spoil in this review. But basically, the main pros of this movie has to be the sound design. The sound design in this movie is absolutely phenomenal. You have no idea. It really elevated every single action sequence in the movie from literally from a 4 all the way to a 10. Literally, the sound design made every moment tense, made every zombie attack very meaningful, very rageful, and very post-apocalyptic. It was absolutely phenomenal. Number two, of course, has to be the cast performances. Literally, the cast performances in this movie were absolutely phenomenal. Specifically, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ralph Fiennes, who plays the freaking doctor in the movie. He was pretty cool. Literally, these two guys literally stole every scene that they were in. Specifically, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who plays a father figure to his son in the movie by teaching him how to fight and kill zombies, which would be pretty cool. It's like Ellie and Joel from The Last of Us. If you play the game, you'll know that reference. But basically, these two absolutely stole every scene that they were in. Number three, of course, has to be the amazing zombie world building of the movie. I'll be honest with you, I never really watched the 28 Days Later movie, which came out a couple of years ago. But literally, this movie does a really good job at catching you up if you haven't watched the original movie. And basically, the world building, zombie building, and all the elements of the world of 28 Years Later is absolutely phenomenal. Basically, in this movie, we get introduced to different variants of zombies. For example, we got runners, which are pretty much your typical zombies with red eyes. Number two, of course, is apex zombies. Apex zombies are basically the king of the zombies, and basically they are very muscular, very hard to kill, and basically they chase you down like you are a deer being hunted by wolves, which would be pretty awesome. And also have to admit that the doctor played by Ralph Fiennes was absolutely incredible. He really added to the story building element of the world. If you see the movie, you'll see why he added to the story building of the world. Basically, what he did is basically introduce us to a weird type of ceremony or ritual that he does for people who died during the zombie apocalypse, which is pretty cool. I won't spoil the rest. But besides that, let's get to the cons of this movie. First things first, one of the main cons of the movie has to be the very long runtime. I'll be honest with you, this movie is an hour and 55 minutes long. The first 40% of the movie were awesomely paced. Literally, it was action sequence with some story building, action sequence with some story building, and very linear path. It was absolutely incredible, very well paced. But it's during the second and third act where the plot of the movie really drags. Literally, I'll be honest with you, I was bored between the 60 and 80% mark of the movie. Literally, they took way too long traveling to a destination in the movie, which I will not spoil. And literally, it was a pain in the butt. I considered going to the restroom, but luckily I didn't, because literally after that sequence, something very emotional happens, which I will not spoil, but I'm going to tell you right now. The second and third act of the movie is absolutely slow paced. Oh, don't even get me started on the cliffhanger ending. I was confused as crap. I'm like, what is going on in this movie? Literally, the ending of the movie has a complete tonal shift. There's different soundtrack playing at the end of the movie. I'm like, what is going on? Is this supposed to be a zombie movie or a disco movie? I'm like, what in the seven seas am I watching? Like, holy crap. Literally, the tone of the movie has changed from very serious to very disco 1970s. It was super weird. And I really feel that element of the movie really took away from the very serious zombie-like tone of this movie. But besides that, this movie is pretty enjoyable. And that, of course, brings us to the end of today's video, starting right about now. However, of course, when it comes to placing this movie on the Andy's Reviews rating system, I have to say that this movie deserves a solid 7 out of 10 chimichangas, a rewatchability score of never ever in a million years, as well as an overall grade of a B-. Well, there you have it. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down below, leave a like on this video, and comment down below letting me know your thoughts about this movie and this universe in general. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.